y'all. It is Crafty Hope here, and I am working today in a journal I haven't shared with y'all before. This is what I'm calling my Advent journal, but basically it's a little junk journal I made of my own design. I did it for the Kasha's Advent calendar, and that's not important. I decided just to use it on this day. I don't think it was a prompt for the Advent calendar, but anyway, I apparently picked out several pieces I wanted to stick in there, or things that I guess maybe have been randomly on my desk because I'm just throwing them in there. None of them have anything to do with each other. I just decided I was going to put them in there and then figure out how to make them work. So this, I'm going to show you how I tried to make these random pieces kind of cohesive in this page, and it really does work out. So the first two pieces I stuck down were some of the little assemblage pieces I made from Amy Bishop's YouTube tutorial, and then that other little piece is a piece of paper I stamped with a hand carved stamp during Carved December. So a lot of those I didn't keep, but for some reason that one really appealed to me. And then there was some scrapbook paper I had used in packaging a gift, and a tag from a tea bag. And yeah, so somehow I'm going to make all of this work. So yeah, so I'm going to start, you can see I'm kind of looking around at it, trying to figure out what to do. And the thing that stands out is that it's all too chaotic. So I'm going to push it all back just a little bit with some gesso. And that is just Liquitex Basics gesso. And I'm using a scraper tool. I have no intention of covering everything with the gesso. I'm making sure I scrape it fairly thin. And I wanted to take the name off the tea bag there. You can see I kind of rubbed over the name on the tea bag. And then I'm grabbing a Stabilo Woody in red. Now, I'm using that because part of the stamp and that scrapbook paper both have red in them, and I want to kind of bring those together a little bit. So I grabbed that red and a little bit more of that gesso, and I am, kind of blending out that Stabilo using the gesso to give it kind of a, I don't know, fluffier feel. I don't know, blend it out. No sharp edges, anything like that in that way. And the color itself isn't so prominent. It kind of subdues that color a little bit and pushes it back as well. So, and then that's just a mechanical pencil. I think it's a 1.3 millimeter Papermate that I love. So I've done a little bit of scribbling with that near the scribbles I did with the Stabilo. And then I'm pulling in a little bit of acrylic paint. And this is all the acrylic paint I think I actually use on this page. So this is Lucas acrylic paint in Fern. So it's kind of a fun color. It's somewhere between a yellow and a green when you put it on the page. It's not so limey, but I thought that it went really well with that yellow that's on my stamped page. That yellow, I believe, on my stamp page is, I think it's fossilized amber. I can't be sure. But I went ahead and kind of went around some of the elements on the page here. The red circles that were on the scrapbook paper were kind of bothering me, how they were standing out. So I kind of colored them in a little bit. You can still see the red in them, but it gives them this like two-tone effect there. And I even put some of that acrylic paint on my stamp paper. So, and then I used that same pencil again to go around the circles that were on that scrapbook paper. So I'm going to think about this a little bit more, and then I decide that the black is standing out on the page too much. So I want to bring more black into the page, and so I'm using this Sharpie poster pen in black just to make some like plus signs or crosses or whatever you want to call them on the page. And so I've done them kind of sporadically there, and I decided there's not any up there at the top, so I put just a couple extra marks up there. And again, I'm just trying to bring elements that are on the page across the page. So, and then I decided I want to do a little doodling. So those little stamped circles that are on there, which is actually the back side of one of those assemblage pieces from Amy that I did. And those stamps were on there, and that caught my eye when I was gathering my paper. So I did little doodling just inside one of those, and I decided that was plenty. I didn't want to do it on all of them because that would end up becoming more of a focal, and I just wanted some doodling. But then once I did that doodling, I was like, I want to do more doodling. So I'm looking at my page and deciding I needed something up there in that left corner. And I just kind of go to town with this, y'all. And you see, I'm doing some like bow shapes and drawing some lines in them. And while it felt really good and ends up being kind of a neat doodle, it's more than this page needs. So it's not going to stay there real long. So I want you to go ahead and start thinking about like making your pages cohesive. Now, this page in the end isn't the most fabulous page in the world. It's not, something everybody's going to be giving me a big like on Instagram for, but it had, I don't know, the way that I was able to make all of these different elements work together and meld really made me happy. So here's where I start getting a little like, ugh, what am I going to do? Why am I doodling? I don't even like what I just did. And so I'm going to grab that gesso and immediately just go over that doodled area with gesso. And because that ink is still wet, it gets kind of muddied in there. So I'm trying to add some of the green in there so it's not so much of a muddy gray. And yeah, that's not too bad. But it's still a little bland up in there, and we'll come back and we'll fix that here in a little bit. So I'm coming back in with a little bit more of the white to echo, because I still have that stark white over on my stamp page, so I want to make sure I keep some white in there. But I'm going to start looking for my focal, and my photo booth images from Tim Holtz had spilled the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't put any of these in anything lately. So when I opened my box, I found that there was this one girl that she had been separated from the other two images that were on the photo strip. So I was like, well, she's going on this page. So it just kind of fell together. So I've got her there, and I'm just going to take a minute or two to kind of figure out where I feel like she needs to be on this page based on all the other elements I've got going on here. And yeah, right up there where, kind of in that area where I've got the icky, is where I need her to be. So I am going to stick her down right there. And then I need a sentiment to go with her. So I grab my bucket of words and sentiments, and I find this sticker pad, and I grab, I can't even remember what it says, and I can't see it. But you'll see at the end, pictures at the end. I've got some pictures so you can get a closer look at this page. So I stuck that sticker down, and I think that pack is from like Cosmo Cricket or something. I found it Tuesday morning, and I have not been able to find stickers with these sentiments again. So, and to highlight this and really make it the focal, I'm going to go around it with my Stabilo all pencil and then a water brush to just give that some shadow around it and let it kind of pop off the page, give it that 3D element. And yeah, I have to tell y'all, I think this may be the last time I used that Stabilo. I cannot find it anywhere. When I cleaned my desk after this, it's just missing. And I had to, fortunately, I have a whole box of 12 I recently bought and hadn't opened yet, so I've pulled it out since then. But I'm befuddled about where I put that Stabilo. I've looked everywhere. While I was editing this, in fact, I looked in the my little red container that the Woody came out of, and it's not there. So I don't know. I'm just gonna keep looking, and I'm in the process of cleaning my craft room, so I thought it would have turned up, but it has not. So yeah. So if y'all see it, I stopped for a second and looked at my page and realized that the flowers were still kind of standing out, and the fact that I only had them in one spot made them feel very kind of prominent. So I felt like I needed a little bit of a scattering of those stamped flowers on the page. So I tore one off here, and I'm going to help it blend into the page by putting a little more gesso over it, which helps push it back and gives it a little more muddled effect there. And I'm looking at the page some more, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to put a couple more of those. Actually, what I'm going to do first is grab my paintbrush and put some white dots, and it's just with my gesso that I have there. They're not really dots, are they? They're just, I don't know, just marks. And you see me blotting them. Again, I don't want that super white feel to them, and I'm going to put some more of those marks around on the page, because if you spread those things around the page, it makes it feel integrated in the page. At least in my mind. I am no art expert. You know, look, I even put them in my little circles on that scrapbook paper. Okay, so I think this last thing I'm going to do is, take that little strip there of some more of my stamped flowers and glue that up in that edge to make it feel just a tad more cohesive. And that's going to be it for this page, y'all. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions or comments about this, please don't hesitate to let me know. Your comments, your likes, your subscribes help me. So I'd appreciate it if y'all take the time. Ask me a question. Give me a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Alright guys, I really appreciate you coming by and watching. Keep on crafting on. Bye.